Remember what we did yesterday for the Raw review?
Yep.
We're doing it again.
Oh,
this time
shit.
for Smackdown.
What?
Smackdown v SummerSlam. Let's see what happened.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, just like yesterday, we're going to go through the SummerSlam card in order of these SmackDown matches and kind of see what happened translated into tonight's episode of Smackdown. So our only pre-show match for Smackdown was the 12-man tag team match, which was a rematch of a match that had happened on SmackDown, I think, the week before.
Yeah, right before SummerSlam.
And so it was the last minute, oh yeah, SmackDown needs a pre-show match, so let's do this. And
or how about we don't have any of SmackDown's tag teams on the card?
yeah, that too. So yeah, we should probably have some tag teams.
So let's put them all.
Why not? So again, it was the Usos, it was American Alpha and the Hype Bros taking on the Vaudevillains, Breezango, and the Ascension. So Job Squad versus, the three most popular tag teams on the roster, probably.
I'd say Breezango's more popular than the Hype Bros.
Zack Ryder.
Breezango.
Anyway, the face team would pick up the win.
Again.
Very similar to the one that happened on SmackDown.
Almost identical.
Slightly different, though, because there was a bit more tension on the face team, as
Yeah.
the Usos actually stole the win from American Alpha, as one of the Usos tagged Chad Gable after they hit Grand Amplitude. Then it was the Superfly Splash that actually picked up the win. So then we move over to SmackDown. And
yeah, this is one of the best transitions.
The way they went about it was a little lackluster, but the fact that the pre-show match turned into a very main part of SmackDown is a good transition, because we now have brand new SmackDown tag team titles.
Yeah, the
which
blue and silver
aren't awful, not great, but not awful.
They look like the step cousins of the regular tag team champions of Raw and Raw.
Yeah, we upgraded from pennies to nickels.
Yeah, and basically all it was all 6 of those teams were standing in the ring, and Shane and Daniel Bryan are like, look, we got new tag belts, and you guys are going to be in a tournament to decide who's going to be the first ever tag team champions, which will be the tournament finals will be at Backlash.
Yes, Backlash.
Bringing back the Backlash pay-per-view.
Backlash was one of my favorite original pay-per-views when I started watching, and I'm glad they're bringing it back.
The only snafu that came up with Shane and Daniel's plans was in the form of Heath Slater.
Slater's gonna slate, baby.
He came through the crowd with the microphone in hand.
Well,
so
I think he probably picked it up from the timekeepers area. He was hanging over there just waiting for the right moment. He's like, Shane and Daniel don't see me yet. Okay, now I'm gonna say something.
Maybe, but he was coming in from. He already had the microphone in his hand when he was crossing through, though.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He stole it.
Yeah, he did, which is illegal.
Shane and Daniel didn't even know how he got in the building. So.
But basically, he was able to talk his way into the tag team tournament. If he could find a partner, he could participate.
Which he was so sure that he could find a tag team partner.
Yeah, he still thought Justin Gabriel was working for WB.
Yeah, and then he also forgot what happened with Jinder Mahal a couple weeks ago.
He didn't realize David Otunga's also just on commentary now.
Yeah, and most of the rest of the Nexus are all gone. Wade Barrett's was like the last remaining member of the Nexus.
Yeah, and Daniel Bryan's out of commission.
Yeah, so...
So, I mean, we do get to follow Heath Slater along his attempt to find a partner.
Yeah, and also, this has double implications for Heath Slater, because this is not only for a spot in the tag team tournament, but it's also if him and if he finds a partner are able, they have to go through the entire tournament and win, and that will secure Heath Slater a spot on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So
you can't have an unsigned tag team champion.
Exactly. But this is, we have 2 storylines in one now.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
And by the way, the pop Heath Slater got for coming out, man.
Yeah, no,
the guy is so over.
He is so over right now. So yeah, we had a couple of different moments where Heath Slater was trying to find a tag team partner.
First, he found The Miz. He thought The Miz was...
The Miz seemed on board.
Yeah, he thought The Miz was excited to see him. He thought he was excited for the proposition. turned out the Miz was apparently talking to Steven Spielberg on a headset for his phone, and Heath Slater was then disappointed.
Well, luckily he had a backup plan where he wanted to recreate the magic of the four horsemen, or
the two horsemen.
The two horsemen, where he'd be the Nature Boy Heath Slater, and his tag team partner could be the Enforcer, and it just so happened to be Arn Anderson.
Yeah. I don't realize, or I don't know if Heath realizes that Arn Anderson's been retired for close to 20 years.
I think there's a lot of things that Heath Slater doesn't realize.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Arn Anderson was retired is probably pretty low on the list.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure he had like his last matches in '97.
Something like that. WCW?
Yeah.
Yeah. Been a while.
But even after trying, who did he try in the locker room?
He didn't.
Was there nobody in the locker room?
No, it was just Miz and Arn Anderson. He almost had Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
But when Arn Anderson found out that he wasn't Heath's first choice, he said, "Well, I can't. I can't do that." Oh, the one other person that he tried to ask was AJ Styles, and we'll get to that in a little bit when we talk about that.
But eventually, things turned around for Heath Slater.
Yeah.
Because in the locker room, he's sulking, and a hand is on his shoulder to comfort him, and he turns around, and it's a Rhino, the guy who actually beat him for a Smackdown spot.
Yeah.
And Heath Slater's just kind of like, oh, what's going on, man? And Rhino's like, I bet being a tag team champion on SmackDown would make good payments on an above ground pool.
And some kids. And Slater went, "What? Hell yeah!" So we don't know who they're facing yet because Shane and Daniel Bryan didn't say, but Slater and Rhino will get a tag team tournament match next week on SmackDown.
Yeah.
We just don't know who they're facing. We had 2 of the tournament matches throughout the night where we saw the Usos advance over the Ascension, go figure, and we had American Alpha advance over Breezango, go figure. So this is where I feel like they dropped the ball on what could have been even better, is they gave us very obvious matches.
Yeah, but I think the way the SmackDown tag team rosters are broken down, there aren't any unobvious matches without putting like the 2 top contenders, like the Usos versus American Alpha, against each other.
Yeah,
Which I know they'd want to save that for a semifinals or finals match.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the only other pretty much shoe-in match, unless they decide to put one of the 2 teams against Heath Slater and Rhino, is going to be the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains next week. And that match, there's so many people who aren't going to care about that match. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. It's just a little predictable, which makes it a little less fun. Speaking of the Miz,
I'm curious who it's going to be though.
Me too.
Baron Corbin and Eric Rowan.
I thought Baron Corbin was actually going to end up being Heath Slater's partner. I don't know why.
A random way to go.
I didn't expect Rhino. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, we mentioned the Miz. He was one of Heath Slater's first choices. He defended the Intercontinental title against Apollo Crews at SummerSlam, and one of the very first couple. I think it was match number 3 was Miz and Crews, and this was a good match for Crews. He got to show off a lot. It wasn't a winning effort for Crews, and it wasn't the most spectacular match. But Miz ends up using the fact that Maurice is out there to his advantage.
Goddamn Maurice.
And so,
that outfit, though.
Yeah, no. That's, that might be one of the hottest outfits she's worn. That might be the hottest outfit she's worn.
They're all the hottest outfits
That's
she's worn.
True. But yeah, Miz was able to use that, get a little bit of an advantage, and then Crews tried to go for a big splash in the corner and whacked his face on those giant posts that they have. And as he backed up, he got hit with the skull-crushing finale, and Miz retained the Intercontinental Championship. Now, other than the Heath Slater bit, Miz didn't do anything on SmackDown.
And all Apollo Crews did was help break up a fight between AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. But I want to mention this because we watched it. Talking Smack, which is the post-show for SmackDown on the WWE Network.
Yeah, much like they have for the Talking Dead.
Yeah.
They had the one for Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Talking Bad.
Now they have one for Mr. Robot on the USA Network.
Oh. He got into a very heated discussion with Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Where Daniel Bryan called The Miz a coward, saying that he's always trying...
He wrestles like a coward.
Yeah, he wrestles like a coward. He never wants to get hit. He always tries to get out of the match. And this set The Miz off. And he cut one of probably the most real and best promos he's ever cut.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to know on what level was this promo a work, and on what level was it a shoot?
For me,
because it's so...
It's not The Miz.
The part of me that's like, oh, okay, you know, he goes on and he talks about his Intercontinental Title World Tour, blah, 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 blah. Okay, sure, maybe it's in character. But at the beginning of it, he gets so personal with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
That it just feels like it wasn't supposed to go down like that.
Well, and, you know, The Miz is supposed to be cocky and confident because he's a heel. He doesn't... In a promo, he doesn't need to explode like that, because that's not what a heel needs to do. He can just go, oh well, you know, you're the one retired, I'm the one with the belt, so you can call me a coward all you want, but I'm still a champion. But Miz went off on Daniel Bryan walked away.
Yeah. And
then Miz kept going after him for that. So I'm wondering if Daniel Bryan specifically said that to try and light that fire under Miz.
Who knows? All I know is look up if there's a link to the video that we can put up.
We'll post it in the comments because it's worth a look.
Yeah, or maybe the description.
Or if you have the WWE Network, be sure to check out Talking Smack from tonight's episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, because The Miz is on fire.
Yes.
On this episode of Talking Smack.
I'm going to go a little bit out of order here because I want to save the championship stuff for last. Because, once again, with the weird booking of SummerSlam, the women's six-woman tag was after
Inception.
Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose. Not sure why, but it was.
Cool-down match between championship matches.
Stupid. Didn't need to happen. So we'll talk about the ladies here. As we found out, you know, before SummerSlam, Eva Marie got suspended, so that left Natty and Alexa by themselves, going against.
Not really.
Not really. So they're going against Naomi, Carmella, and Becky Lynch, and they still do Eva Marie's entrance. And say that she is recovering and de-stressing herself from negative comments from angry WWE fans or rude WWE fans. No.
She's suspended.
She's suspended. You don't give her fucking TV time when she's suspended.
I understand doing the whole entrance bit. They're trying to keep running with this.
Yeah,
avoiding the match storyline.
I get that too.
But at the same time, it's already been acknowledged on WWE.com.
Yeah.
And all over the internet.
Yeah,
and the one thing now is that it can't be at this point, because of what happened earlier this year, it cannot be overlooked anymore.
Yeah.
Because Seth Rollins, earlier in the year, made it a point to talk about Roman Reigns' suspension.
And that's that's exactly what I was going to compare it to, because Roman Reigns didn't get TV time except when Seth Rollins was running him down, which is what a heel should do. You shouldn't be giving someone who got suspended any fanfare. Granted, Roman Reigns is still getting title shots. Go back to our Raw review for us to talk about that. But if they're getting suspended, it needs to be a punishment. It shouldn't be, oh, well, you know, we'll still make sure you're relevant, so when you come back in a month, you can still be on TV. Luckily, they didn't do anything for her on Smackdown.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. But the fact that you did it on the pay-per-view, completely unnecessary. You could have specifically had Alexa and Natalya say, well, everyone knows what happened to Eve Marie, so, you know, we've had choices. We could either go into this handicap match, or we found ourselves a partner, which they did, and it was the returning Nikki Bella. So Nikki Bella is officially on the SmackDown women's roster.
For a girl who 90% of the time wrestled in a red outfit, she's picking the blue brand.
Well, she wore blue a couple times.
It's because Cena's on SmackDown.
That's what it. Yeah, so now she gets to travel with her man. So
that's smart though.
Which is why Dean and Renee are both on SmackDown as well.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the Usos and Naomi.
Yeah.
So
it all makes sense.
Yeah, except apparently no one gave a shit about Big Cass and Carmella. You guys are going to different shows.
Well, so this had another cool transition.
Yeah,
because we know.
But the 6-woman tag, decent match. All the girls got a little bit of action there, and Nikki ends up hitting a TKO. So she's not doing the rack attack anymore. She actually does like the spin out neck breaker, which is a good move. She ended up hitting that on,
I think it was Carmella.
Yes, because Carmella had did a double drop kick to take out both Alexa and Natalya, leaving her alone in the ring with Nikki. Yeah, so they win. Good for them. Decent looking showing for Nikki after coming back. Yeah, she's alright.
This is the credit I'm going to give her, because I know you were very critical of Nikki Bella prior to her leaving with her injury.
I was not sad to see her go. For what?
For somebody who was gone with the severity of her injury, it being a neck injury, which is always very, neck and back, anything involving the spinal column. It's always, ooh, what's going to happen? How are they going to look? Because I can imagine it's got to be a little tentative getting back in the ring.
It's the most used part of your body when you're wrestling. You're always getting grappled there for headlocks or just tying up.
Or just getting slammed on the ground.
Yeah, you're always...
Anything can jar your back.
Yeah, you're always hitting the area. So, yeah, I will absolutely give Nikki credit, because she looked great in the ring.
Good shape, and didn't really show any ring rust.
And she's way better than Carmella. So, I don't necessarily like Nikki Bella, but if I had to choose between her and Eve Marie, I'd choose Nikki Bella.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. I'd say the one downside of her coming to the SmackDown brand is it would have been good to have another experienced person on the Raw roster,
especially considering the condition that the Raw women's roster is in currently.
Yeah, we go over that some more in the Raw review.
Yeah.
So we get the reveal of the new Women's Championship for SmackDown, which is just a blue version of the Women's Championship over on Raw.
Which I'm okay with that. They went very simple, and now it's brand exclusive. You got a red one on Raw, you got a blue one on SmackDown. That's cool.
And Shane McMahon reveals that there's going to be a 6-pack challenge at Backlash between the 6 women who are on the SmackDown roster.
Carmella, Naomi, Becky, Nikki, Natty, and Alexa.
So it seems like the lead up to this is going to be just multiple matches, pitting different members of this six-pack challenge against each other.
Yeah.
Up until Backlash.
Yeah.
So what we have, Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss.
Awesome match.
Yeah.
These ladies kicked ass.
It's
which I'm gonna say right now, they did a great job with the women on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I think both segments really make me excited for what the lead up to this match is going to be. And yeah, so starting off with just a great match between Becky and Alexa. This was a good moment for Alexa because she hasn't really had like a real solid match on SmackDown yet.
Yeah, but it's good in the way that this is the second time they've fought each other on SmackDown now. Because it was a few weeks back when it was the second time Eva Marie no-showed for her match. Alexa Bliss made her in-ring debut.
Yeah, the impromptu.
So they have the experience working together on SmackDown, and it shows. They have a good match, a lot of good counter-hold exchanges.
A lot of good sequences.
And Becky just looking rad.
Yeah, Becky ends up pulling out the win. She actually reverses a wheelbarrow arm drag into the disarmer and gets Alexa Bliss to tap out. So a very pretty end to a stellar match, and just it shows that we have at least, which we know we have more, we have at least two very solid workers that are going to be in the six-pack challenge.
Yeah, and the second match they decided to go with will be the returning Nikki Bella. This is her first singles match back on the main roster from her injury versus Carmella, the person she pinned in the six women's tag match.
Which makes sense. And then you notice right off the bat, which is something that we talked about when I brought up that Nikki was probably going to be the one returning, is that it's hard to gauge where Nikki Bella is going to be on the roster. Because she actually got a bigger pop than Carmella did.
Yeah, and it was an interesting dynamic because right when she gets into the ring, Renee Young gets in the ring. And starts an interview with Nikki.
Yeah, it was very, very weird to have it at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, and I mean, even they've been doing this with the Braun Strowman opponents.
Right.
With Byron meeting them in the ring.
Okay.
But what's been happening is they've been doing their interviews as Braun Strowman is coming out.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that the interview is cutting off the match is sort of like almost the breaking point for Carmella, who feels like she's being completely overshadowed.
I didn't even think about that. That is brilliant.
She's being completely overshadowed at this point because, okay, she's already going to be tiffed because Nikki was the one that pinned her at SummerSlam.
Yeah, so she's already wanting to get back at her.
And now, rather than Nikki coming into the ring and them wrestling, there's got to be big fanfare over Nikki Bella, and she's going to try and do an interview before they can even have the match.
Yeah. And Carmella hasn't really gotten any like big fanfare since she was drafted from NXT.
No, and that's one of the things I was worried about because she's not that strong of an independent worker.
Yeah, absolutely.
She thrived on NXT because she had Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, in a very unexpected but enjoyable turn, Carmella makes a heel turn and attacks Nikki Bella. First kicking her leg right out from under her, and then as she got her down, she specifically did a bunch of really big forearm strikes to the back of her neck, and really got into that. She got real rough with it, and she had it. It seemed to fit her.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we've always. When she was on NXT, we always kind of thought, okay, when is Carmella going to take that heel turn? Because she's always kind of had that attitude that fits a heel persona.
It was when she first showed up on NXT.
Yeah.
In the vignettes with Enzo and Cass, where she was a complete bitch to Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
But Enzo kept oh, come on, let us train you, she was demanding to be trained, and, paid no attention to Enzo, only paid attention to Cass.
Which is because they're dating.
And, that ended up being the way it works out.
Yeah.
Once she debuted and, showed up on the actual NXT show in front of the crowd, she seemed to immediately drop that catty bitch attitude
and
become a really good functioning member of the team with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, she was the hype girl. She was out there getting the crowd into it, and she was always she was good in that role. But yeah, you're right. On her own, she's not as strong.
No,
which is a good thing. Why they dropped her whole entrance bit.
Yeah,
because it doesn't work as well on the main roster.
No. The other thing, though, I'm kind of thinking that's going to actually come of this is the fact that this might be them trying to make her go heel.
Mm-hmm.
It might not. But I think what's going to end up happening is this is going to make her more popular.
You think so?
Yeah. Because right now, especially with the debacle that was SummerSlam, and basically the entire month leading up to SummerSlam,
yeah.
I think anytime something unexpected happens is going to sway the favor of the fans. Because we just got so much predictable, blah, gross, why are they doing this crap for the last month. Now that something like, you don't expect Carmella to go crazy and attack Nikki Bella. But it's also different. So you go, ooh, that's different, that's new, new is cool, because what's been happening isn't cool, so change is good, so, look at that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be paying attention to Carmella.
Yeah.
So, whether or not she goes heel or not, I think we really just upped her popularity level.
But yeah, no,
and the aggressive style is super popular now.
Yeah, and I think it's going to fit her better than trying to be flashy, because she can do stuff, but it doesn't seem as genuine. I think the aggression is going to fit her. She's able to be scrappy because she's so small. She's tall, but she's super skinny. So yeah, it'll be nice to see how she embraces this little bit of a gimmick change. So, but going back to SummerSlam, we got just a couple more matches to talk about. First, we talked briefly about it on Raw. Randy versus Brock was the main event, and it was another garbage Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah, Orton looked good in the few moments he had.
Yeah, he got like 4 moves.
I'm still, to this day, saying that he's got the best drop kick in current day WWE.
Definitely.
So we have the fallout. Orton shows up on SmackDown to talk. Gets a huge pop from the crowd. Yeah. Orton is so over.
I mean, I've been a Randy Orton fan since he debuted,
and a lot of and there are a lot of Randy Orton fans. And I'm not saying that he's not good, but he was one of those guys that was starting to get really stagnant with the audience before he got injured. And I think this newer, more revitalized face Randy Orton is getting really over with the fans.
Yeah, I think heel Randy Orton is what people were getting really sick of.
Yeah. And he said, "Oh, I bet you guys didn't expect me to be here," which I kind of didn't.
Yeah, no, when they said he was going to be there live, I was like, okay, so we're going to get Randy Orton's thoughts from this match. He pointed out the staples in his head,
and he's gonna have a gnarly scar.
Yeah, no,
because that's a big gash on his head.
Yeah, here's the gash right there. It's not pretty.
Yeah,
it was a hard way. That's Brock Lesnar's elbow.
And it was a bloodbath at that point. But he comes out, starts talking about, Randy Orton's tough, and what the hell's gonna happen, whatever. But he's quickly interrupted by Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. So already, what was supposed to be your big climactic ending. Hell, we'll even talk about the other quick spot. Is Shane barely talked about it.
Yeah.
And he got F5'd. He just said that the thing between him and Brock Lesnar isn't finished.
Mm-hmm.
So between that and Stephanie saying that there will be repercussions on Raw...
Shane did reveal what the repercussions are.
Yeah, Stephanie apparently fined Brock Lesnar $500 for the attack on Randy Orton and on Shane. And so Shane's like, oh, so yeah, she's really taking this into consideration. She's really putting a lot of thought towards this. But literally, what happened to Randy Orton and what Brock Lesnar did literally got 5 minutes combined TV time between Raw and SmackDown. And that was your SummerSlam main event. The talk of 20-some-odd suplexes to John Cena last year got more TV time than the bloodbath and attacking a GM did this year.
And I think this one was more people were pissed.
Yeah. I was pissed both times. I'm done with Brock Lesnar. I don't care anymore.
Unfortunately, no matter how done you are,
I know.
He ain't going away.
I know. But anyway, yeah.
Bray Wyatt. He is, but only for like 3 or 4 months.
But yeah, so Randy Orton's just moving right along, which we saw the precursor last week when he was heading back. Him and Bray Wyatt kind of exchanged a look as Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan were getting ready for a tag match.
Yeah, and basically, Bray cuts a promo talking about how Randy Orton hasn't faced anybody like Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's only a human. Bray Wyatt is a god. You can't, he might be a legend killer, but you can't kill a god.
Yeah, they not only didn't really cover Randy Orton's moment at SummerSlam, but they also put him in a feud against Bray, which I'm very interested in seeing Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, but you're having Bray Wyatt do the exact same thing that he does every single time.
Mm-hmm.
With nothing new and no backup.
Yeah, the only thing that I didn't enjoy about this whole segment is there's no explanation about why Bray walked out on Eric Rowan other than the fact that Rowan lost.
Yeah, and the only time we saw Eric Rowan was he was breaking up a fight between AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, so, I think it's going to be a cool feud. I think it's going to have some good matches.
Yeah, the matches I'm very excited for. I don't know what the story is going to be, though. And I don't know if there's much to expect.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing by any means.
Probably not. So yeah.
Now the championship.
Now the championship stuff, which had a fantastic fallout, I think. This is something that they did well on SmackDown as well. So first off, yes, match of the night, AJ Styles, John Cena 3 at SummerSlam. They fucking tore the house down.
They killed it.
It was better than their first. They had amazing false finishes. It was...
Yeah, Styles kicked out of the second rope attitude adjustment.
That was Cena's face after that. He just sat in the corner and felt like there was absolutely nothing left he could do. He kept his distance from Styles and just watched AJ get back to his feet, and he's like, what do I do?
That's what makes sense, because that's how he beat AJ Styles when they did the 6-man tag, when he teamed up with Enzo and Cass and Styles had the club. Yeah.
And, and then on top of that, you've got the battle of the Calf Crusher or the STF, and it was a back and forth submission battle, which both of them escaped. It was just another classic match, just proving, what we say all the time, John Cena will go the distance as long as his opponent is willing to. And so, after that, we had the Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler championship match.
Styles won, by the way.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. Yeah, he actually ends up hitting, he reverses out of the AA, hits a Styles Clash, then goes out, hits the Phenomenal Forearm back-to-back to finish the match. And then Dean versus Dolph, I felt, didn't really sell me. It wasn't a bad match, it just didn't excite me the way, Cena Styles did, or Seth versus Finn did.
I think a lot of it had to do with where they were putting the card.
Yeah?
I feel like maybe they would have tried a little harder had they been the main event.
Yeah.
Or at least the last match for SmackDown.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, as a fan, I was wiped out after Cena Styles. I didn't have a lot more to give.
Yeah. No, that could very well be it as well.
You know, at that point, they put that match on early enough to where I went, what else is it? You know, it's one of the few things that, you know, only very few independent wrestling organizations get away with it, because like a Ring of Honor or a PWG where like every match is wrestled like it's a main event.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go out and give everything early on in the show.
Yeah.
Because literally, and I kind of feel like this is sort of why the Lesnar-Orton match went the way it did, is because like once you use up everything and all the high spots are taken out, and you know everyone's now like, you know, in one match you guys kicked out of 14 different finishers.
Yeah.
The only thing you have left to do is to kill your opponent.
Which doesn't, very rarely gets the people back into the action.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and that's kind of all that, you know, there was nothing left after that match. Like, everything, all the excitement was sapped out because of how good this match was. Not saying that it's their fault or anything, but it's the fault of whoever decided to put this as like the 4th or 5th match on the show.
And then, you know, they tried to make it exciting because you did have Ziggler really, you know, putting to rest all the things that Dean Ambrose said about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was fighting his heart out, and then you had the moment where they were up on the top rope. He was trying to go for a superplex, or he was trying to go for like the face buster or something, where they jumped down, and then both of them landed on their feet, and that caught Dolph Ziggler off guard, and then Dean Ambrose immediately hit the Dirty Deeds and retained the WWE Championship. So then we go to SmackDown, where AJ comes into the locker room, you know, fanfare for himself, talking about how great he is. He's got the John Cena band that John Cena left in the ring after the match.
Band, he was wearing it on his head.
Yeah, you know, saying, oh, you know, it looks better on me than it did on Cena. And, you know, all these people, you know, you've got Apollo Crews, you've got Baron Corbin, you have Eric Rowan, you have Rhino, all just kind of like, yeah, okay, cool. And then you have Dolph Ziggler, who's kind of just like, got his face in his hands in a chair. And Ziggler is not in the mood to be, you know, ridiculed or getting shit tossed at him.
He's not ready to be dicked with.
But that's what AJ does. AJ gets right into his ear and says, I don't have time for losers. And
Ziggler got him and says, don't be booshed.
And so
he actually headbutts AJ Styles to get him away from him.
And then he jumps up and they start fighting. So then you got the 4 guys that are in there and a bunch of referees that run in from off camera.
They were just right off camera.
To break them up.
There must be just an other side of the locker room, in the same room that all the referees were just standing next to each other watching this happen.
Yeah. And so then, as Shane and Daniel Bryan are talking about the Women's Championship and the tag team titles, and Slater's going to find a tag team partner, AJ comes out and complaining, like, did you see what happened back there? I can't believe that. That's where he turns down Heath Slater, says he's not going to be his tag team partner. He's like, I can't believe this. I beat John Cena. And then Dolph Ziggler attacks him on the outside.
Yeah.
And so, it's just more chaos.
All the tag teams jump out of the ring to break them up.
Yeah.
On top of the fact there was already referees and Jamie Noble and Billy Kidman.
And
as part of J&B security now.
So then, AJ takes it upon himself to come out later in the show and start talking more trash, saying, he's got the armband again, he's pointing it out, talking about how great he is, and, he doesn't have time for people like Dolph Ziggler because he's too busy beating people like John Cena.
And he's the new face that runs the place.
Yeah, and he deserves to be the #1 contender for the championship. Dolph starts coming out again, referees are trying to back him up, and so he's trying to get in the ring so they can fight. Daniel Bryan comes out and says, whoa, chill the fuck out.
We're going to have a match.
Yeah, we're going to have a match because you're right, AJ. You did beat John Cena, so you do deserve to be #1 contender. But you will have to face Dolph Ziggler because Dolph Ziggler came very close to becoming champion. So if Dolph can beat AJ Styles in a one-on-one match, he will then make the Backlash main event a triple threat match. Whereas AJ can stop Dolph Ziggler from being in it completely if he's able to win. And so we go to our main event of SmackDown, AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
This was a great way to cap off a very good edition of SmackDown, again with the false finishes. This is a match that I think people have been wanting to see, knowing how good Ziggler is and knowing the kind of style that Styles runs. It's very complementary to each other.
Yeah.
And, Dolph is obviously in that rage mode that he was going against Dean Ambrose.
He's very aggressive versus AJ.
Which Dean is actually at commentary as well, giving his thoughts. And so it's just another great match, a lot of false finishes, and you're wondering, okay, what's their plan here? Are they going to give Ziggler another shot, or are they just going to go one-on-one with Styles? And it made it very interesting, like, okay, I don't know what to expect here. It made you wonder, which is something that we really strive for when we're watching wrestling, is stuff that we can't predict. And so, despite just fighting and trying his best to get the advantage, Ziggler ends up trying to go for a super kick, which AJ is able to dodge and actually sends Ziggler's leg through the ropes, kicks the rope as I don't remember why the referee was distracted.
It's just because Styles spun him around.
Oh, okay. And so the ref doesn't see him kick the rope like up into his leg, and that like hobbles Ziggler back.
I think it was supposed to pull off more like he hit him in the nuts.
Like a low blow? Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. So that actually doubles Ziggler over, allows Styles to hit the Styles Clash.
Rolls it over and pins him.
And then, so now Ziggler has been eliminated from the picture. We have a one-on-one match. And Styles decides to go out and get in Dean's face and actually rip the headset off of his head. And then you realize that Dean's actually got a couple inches on AJ.
Oh, yeah. No,
AJ's
a small guy.
AJ's a small dude. And so we get a really cool stare down. We've got, I think, 2 weeks from Sunday is Backlash. So we've got a couple more weeks of build for this. I'm really excited for the SmackDown pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We're going to get new tag team champions. We're going to get a new women's champion. We've got a great title match. God knows what else we're going to get. We don't know who Heath Slater and Rhino are going to be facing in a week. So, overall, SummerSlam was kind of a flop with a few sprinkles of good stuff here and there.
If you want to go, I'll quote my comment that I posted on WWE's Facebook page, is that it was a few really good matches wrapped up in a bunch of frustration and disappointment.
Yeah.
What I want to say is that after SummerSlam with Raw and SmackDown, WWE, if they continue on with what they're doing, are on the road to redeeming themselves for the last 30 days of shitty programming.
I think SmackDown, for me, SmackDown more so has my interest. Raw just kind of seems to be going down the same road. The only thing that they really pulled out is they have Bayley now.
Yeah, I understand to an extent, because Raw was put in a really hard place after SummerSlam.
Losing Sasha and Finn, I understand that
you lost your most popular wrestler in their women's division and their Universal Champion the night after he wins it.
Yeah.
So they're put between a rock and a hard place. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Everything that happened probably was decided minutes before Raw went on the air last night. I'm just saying, both shows, in my opinion, were better than SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
With the exception of maybe if you pulled out Sasha and Charlotte and Finn, Seth, and Cena Styles.
Yeah.
Like, those matches were, those were the kind of matches where like, oh, those would have been great on TakeOver.
That could have been your 6th hour added to the 5 hours that SmackDown and Raw are.
Yeah. Just keep it up, guys.
Yeah. I mean, we've been...
You're laying down the foundations for your road to redemption.
Just smooth it all over. Make us want to go down that road.
Yeah.
Because if you leave us a bunch of fucking potholes, we're not going to want to go there. We're going to take another road. Because Lucha Underground's coming back in a couple weeks. So
Yeah.
Make us like your shows. But that's it for the SmackDown Rundown. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Click all the links down in the description. They'll send you all of our different social medias. You'll also get reviews, our 4 regular reviews in podcast form down there as well. For those of you that are listening to the podcast, you want to head over to the YouTube because you get some extra videos when you check it out on the YouTubes. You get the Cruiserweight Classic review. You get pay-per-view predictions.
Pay-per-view reviews.
Yep. And I just realized that we get to reveal who gets a cane shot now.
Yeah. Because if you remember, if you're on the YouTubes watching us, we did the SummerSlam prediction video, and we made a little wager that the winner, whoever predicted the most matches right, would be able to use a kendo stick / Singapore cane, whatever you want to call it, to whack the loser. And then we made the little caveat to the rule that the winner would whack the loser the amount that is the point difference between the scores.
It's the only thing that makes me excited about this, because Kevin Hawk did in fact get 1 point over me.
I won, but only by a slim margin.
7-6. Thomas Wolfe actually took it all together with 8.
Yes.
So had he been a part of it, he would have been able to give him 1 and me 2. But since it is just me and Kevin Hawk, in the coming days, it should be at least by the weekend, you want to head over to Reasonable Wrestling Fans, where you get to see me get hit with a kendo stick. I bet you're so excited. Anyway, check out the rest of the videos over here.
Remember that video I chopped him one time?
Yeah, after Lucha Underground. Check out all the videos coming out this week. It's a simmered down week because we don't have a bunch of extra shows. And then be sure to check out all the other videos on Reasonable Wrestling Fans. It's the YouTubier side of the guys you usually
More
see.
videos coming over there.
Yeah, very soon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next. Fuck Brock Lesnar.